Hey boys and girls, Mr. Giomini. For homework, you're going to have to convert some mixed numbers into improper fractions and then do the opposite and convert improper fractions to mixed numbers. This was a skill you worked on last year in 5th grade, but here's a little refresher since we haven't really talked about it too much in 6th grade at all, with the exception of this lesson. That's just the math journal page. So, if I have my mixed number, I have 6 and 4/5. I want to convert that to an improper fraction, or from what I hear Mrs. Plow used to call top heavy. I always think of it this way. I multiply denominator times whole number, and then whatever that product is, I add the numerator to it. So if I look at this problem, I have, and I go in a circular manner, I go from bottom to top. I go 5 times 6 is 30, 30 plus 4 is 34, so that becomes my new numerator because it's improper, improper meaning that the numerator is larger than the denominator, and the denominator just travels with us. For the next one, I have 2 and 3/7. 2 and 3/7. So again, I take denominator times whole number, and then whatever that product is, I add to it the numerator. And that'll give me my new numerator, and the denominator travels with us. So I go 7 times 2 is 14. 14 plus 3 gives me 17. The denominator travels with us, so I get 17/7, which can't be reduced, so we're good. Another example of this, I have 4 and 9/10. I take my denominator, times it by my whole number. I then am going to add to that product my numerator. So I go 4 times 10 is 40, plus 9 is 49. So I have 49. The old denominator comes with us, so I have 49/10. Okay. And then finally, I have this last example. I have 10 and 1/3. I take my denominator, times it by my whole. I add the numerator to that product. 10 times 3 is 30. 30 plus 1 is 31. Denominator travels with me, 31/3. Okay. Now if I'm doing the opposite, now I'm going to convert an improper or top-heavy fraction into a mixed number. So I know I'm going to have a whole number and a fraction. Well, I always say to myself, what times 4 will give me close to 13? So 4 times 3. So that becomes my whole number, the 3. 4 times 3 is 12. I subtract that product from the numerator. 13 minus 12 is 1. And just as before, the denominator travels with us. So I have 3 and 1/4. If I look at the next one, 17/9. I'm looking at the denominator. This really just says, what is 17 divided by 9? Now, I know that 9 times 2 gives me 18, but that's larger than 17, so I cannot use that. So I'm going to have to use 9 times 1. The 1 becomes my new whole number. Remember, the denominator travels with us. 1 times 9 is 9. 17 minus 9 is 8, so I'm left with 1 and 8/9. 8/9 cannot be reduced, so that's simplest term, so I'm good. Look at another example. I have 42/5. Okay. I know I'm going to have a fraction over here because I'm looking for a mixed number. I say 5 times what gives me close to 42, or really 42 divided by 5. So I'm going to say 5 times 8. That means 5 goes into 42 8 whole times. Denominator travels with me. I go 8 times 5 is 40. I subtract. That's 42 minus 40. That gives me 2. I have 8 and 2/5. 2/5 cannot be reduced. Simplest terms. Last example. 70 divided by 40, or 70/40. I don't really know how many times 40 goes into 70. I'm just going to write it down here. I'll write it like a division problem, which it actually is. 4 goes into 7 once. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract, that's 30. 7 times what gives me close to 30? That is 17. Okay, so now I know that 4 goes into 70. 17 times. Now, what is 17 times 4? 68. So I subtract 68 from here. My denominator of 4 travels with me, so I have 4. 70 minus 68 gives me 2. I have 17 and 2/4, but I am not done, because if I look at this fraction, both 2 and 4 have a common factor. It is 2. So I divide both numerator and denominator by 2. Those are sloppy 2s, I apologize. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So my answer really is 17 and 1/2 once I reduce that fraction. Hope this helps you with your homework tonight. Take care. Bye.